Welcome to the Woodpreneur podcast, the best podcast for the business and marketing side of the sawmill, lumber, and wood industry. What's a woodpreneur? If you have a business where you make money as a woodworker, sawmill owner, selling slabs, or a content creator, then you're a woodpreneur. My name's Steve Larosiliere, and I started Woodpreneur Life, Acres of Timber, and the Woodpreneur podcast just for makers, wood entrepreneurs, and small business owners just like you. We're on a mission to empower thousands of wood businesses to grow sustainably and put out great products. Each week, I interview makers, sawyers, content creators, and 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs that know the wood industry inside and out. With topics covering everything from the urban lumber movement, sustainable sourcing and design, we'll discuss the ins and outs of how to grow, monetize, and fully immerse yourself in the woodpreneur lifestyle. If you're a hobbyist, a full-time wood business owner, part-time entrepreneur who wants to become a content creator, or quit your day job to pursue your dreams, the Woodpreneur podcast is just for you. Thanks so much for listening. Now enjoy this episode. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur podcast. This is your host, Steve Larosiliere. Today's guest is Ben Deumling from Zena Forest Products. How you doing, Ben?
Doing really well. Good to be here.
Good to have you on. Tell everybody about Zena Forest Products.
Yeah, so I wear a lot of hats. We're a pretty vertically integrated company where really started out as, taking care of a patch of family forest lands. We're here in the Willamette Valley of Oregon and have a patch of forest land where I grew up and has a lot of Oregon oak on it. And being out here in the Pacific Northwest, which is Douglas fir country, Oregon oak really didn't have a home, and there was no infrastructure, no mills sawing hardwoods here. And I, over time, about 17, 18 years ago, started building some infrastructure to saw our own logs. And because there was nowhere to go with our hardwood logs. And fairly quickly that grew, and the word got out that I was sawing oak logs, and people started selling logs to me. And we've really, over the last 16, 17 years, worked on developing the infrastructure to process our native hardwoods that grow here in Western Oregon and primarily turn it into hardwood flooring. And so that's sort of a little bit of where we come from. Today I've got 10 employees. We are vertically integrated from managing our own forest and then buying logs from forests throughout the valley to sawing logs, kiln drying them. We have a mill workshop where we do all our secondary manufacturing, and then we've got a flooring shop where we take our blanks and turn them into a couple different kinds of flooring. So alongside that, we have a wood shop where we build stair treads, we build louvered wooden heat registers, and things to go along with our floors. So yeah.
So cool. So you started it 16, 17 years ago, you said?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 2007 was kind of when we started the mill side of the business. The forest had been in my family since I was a little kid and growing up in the forest, but the mill's 2007.
Okay. How did you, and so it was in the family for a while, you realized that you
Mm-hmm.
had all these amazing, trees and species, and as part of forest management, you were using the trees that were coming out in creating wood products. That's essentially it.
Absolutely. And, I talk about how Oregon is Douglas fir country, and that's what we do really well here, but not every acre wants to grow Douglas fir. And we're
Mm-hmm.
down in the valley. We've got on some hills here where it's poorer soils, drier. It's not good mountainous fir grounds where the oak really likes to grow, and the oak thrives here. And so it was really trying to figure out how do we capitalize on value on this phenomenal resource that we had growing in our forest.
That's so exciting. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
it's been fun.
How did you start developing the market? How did you start getting the word out about this product?
So, I mean, we did in the early 2000s, we did a little bit of R&D to make, we did some custom cuts where we sent logs to another mill to have them sawed up and then dried and then turned into flooring to see if Oregon oak really was something that we could work with. And the answer was a resounding yes. It's a phenomenal species. It makes beautiful flooring. And, really for, most of the years, it's been a very slow and steady growth of word of mouth, trying to build a really good website, trying to make a really good product that we can stand behind. And only in the last couple years have we gotten to the scale where we can afford, you know, I have a full-time salesperson now. We spend a lot more time working with architects and interior designers and doing sort of outreach and marketing, but it really built the business on word of mouth and maintaining our integrity, our values, our reputation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. What were those, what was a pivotal moment in the business, like in the past couple of years?
Well, so the huge one for us has been, well, over the last couple of years. So we like I said, been sort of slowly, steadily. We make wide plank engineered flooring as our bread and butter. We've been making that for years, and this opportunity sort of fell in my lap a number of years ago. The really big architecture firm in Portland, ZGF Architects, was designing a brand new terminal for the Portland airport, which is the largest public works project in Oregon history. It's a massive, massive project. And they were, from day one, were really, really interested in using local materials throughout that project. And I started having conversations with them a long time ago about using woods in the floor, putting in Oregon oak flooring in there. And so that relationship really blossomed. And about 3 years ago, I pitched to them a completely new type of flooring that's never been made in North America before. It's a flooring tile, um, made up of little sticks that are held together with wire. Uses small pieces of woods out of small boards, and it was a win-win-win. It was a win for the project because we were struggling. How do you put 75,000 square feet of flooring into an airport terminal? And there's some real technical challenges with hardwood floors on a space that large, with wood movement, expansion, contraction, things like that. For us, we were running up against, our wide plank was selling well. Everybody wants wide boards, long boards. What do you do with the narrow boards? What do you do with the small pieces of wood that the trees make, the other half of the tree? And so this was a win-win there, where the architects and the airport was able to get a product that worked for them. We were able to develop a product that complemented the other half of our product mix, and that allowed us to scale dramatically. It was such a huge job. Like I said, it was 75,000 square feet of hardwood flooring that we made, and we built a whole new facility. We put in a whole new line of flooring machinery that was made for us out of Germany, a manufacturer in Germany that built it for us. And coming out the other sides, we're a significantly larger business with a brand new product line that we're sort of launching to the world these days with. So yeah, that's been our sort of big project that's really transformed this business over the last couple of years.
How many square feet?
75,000. It's probably the largest
Wow.
wood floor to be installed in North America in decades. It's a massive, massive floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah.
And you know what's really awesome is that those wood floors are going to be in there forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that was really one of the keys was, there's 50,000 people a day who walk across this floor. Like, how do we build a floor that's going to be durable and resilient and hold up to that kind of traffic? Because that's orders of magnitude different than what normal wood floors have to handle every day. And we did tons of R&D, and we've got sample panels in there and the floors for the last almost 4 years now that have held up phenomenally. This is a 100+ year floor that they're getting.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. How did you, I mean, you, you did something that not a lot of people do. Like, you thought of your company as a brand and not as a name, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Deumling flooring, right? Like,
Yeah.
you thought of
Right.
it like a brand. And then the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is that you went out and you hired people. Like, what was that like? What was the first critical hire? And, you said you got a salesperson, but like, what were your first
Yeah.
five hires?
And so, I mean, early on, I was hiring mill workers. I was hiring folks who could help, run machinery. Because starting out, I was on the sawmill every day, and I loved it. It was great. I mean, I love getting my hands dirty and making sawdust. but there was more than I could just do. And it's for the first probably 6 or 8 years, I was pretty hands-on in the business, and I was hiring helpers who could help me do the various tasks. Some of the stuff we do is 2 and 3 and 4 person um, processes that take a number of people to run. And it was probably, it was 2017. I think I hired an office manager who's ended up turning into sort of my operations manager and CFO. Um, that was when I sort of branched out and started hiring, non-mill workers to help. And now we have a really good team with Paul, who's my operations manager, and Shannon, who she runs our sales. And between the three of us, we kind of run the operations. And I've got a crew running the mill, and now I've got one guy runs a wood shop, and then I got a full-time maintenance guy as well. So we've takes a lot to run the business at this point.
So
Yeah,
so you're the primary product is flooring, correct?
absolutely. Yeah,
And
flooring
then
and a couple things that complement the flooring.
like the wood vents.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're selling mainly through designers, architects?
That's about half. We're about 50-50 is retail to residential projects, direct to homeowners. And the other half goes through the architecture and design pipeline, where we
Sure.
get specified in the plans. And we've got a really robust network of designers and architects who like to use our materials and will draw us into the plans.
Can you tell me a little bit about the type of customer that wants Oregon flooring,
Yeah.
Oregon oak?
So absolutely. So we're at the top of the market. And that's not really because I wanted to be at the top of the market, but it's because we're really reflecting a true cost of a really high quality floor. I pay my folks well, and we don't cut corners in making a piece of flooring. We want to make a piece of flooring that's going to last for another 100 years and really reflect the beauty of the forest that it came from. And so as a result, our customers are wealthier.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be an owner occupied project. So it's a homeowner who's building a custom home. It's um, an office building or a restaurant where the owner of the building is making the decision. We're not going into rental units, apartment buildings, things like that. We're going into really beautifully designed spaces where the owners have an attention to detail, want to not only put in a really high quality product that's going to last forever, but put one in with a story that really they can
Yeah.
trace that floor back to this forest and the forest of the Willamette Valley here, where it came from.
Yeah. Is it all over? I mean, for the residential, is it mainly people in Oregon or just all over?
We sell across the country. We just shipped a floor to Arizona last week. We sell across the country, but I would say 80% of our work is the Pacific Northwest. So mostly Oregon and
Okay.
Washington, some California, a little bit of Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pacific Northwest is where the most of our work is. But and the floors
Mm-hmm.
around the country, usually that's because it's a designer here in the Northwest who's designing a project somewhere else in the country that's going to specify us.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
definitely a regional business at this point. But our new edge grain is really giving us the ability to expand nationally. And that's really our big focus is growing that market nationally.
Hey, what about have you thought of other byproducts from the like what else could you be like
Yeah, we have
developing? Like
experimented.
could you do oh, go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. Yeah, we've experimented with lots of different things. And I mean, just one example, like all of our sawdust, we sell to a commercial mushroom grower. So who
Mm-hmm.
grows shiitake mushrooms. So that is a great home for all the sawdust. And all our wood scraps we burn in our furnace to heat our kilns in our warehouse.
Yeah.
So we're a pretty closed loop there. We've experimented with, Oregon white oak is phenomenal for building wooden boats. It's great
Yeah.
for wood for barrels. We've dabbled with those. We make, kitchen countertops out of our hardwood as well. Um, we do some wall paneling. All of those are sort of little parts of our business that don't really have the capacity to scale the way the flooring
Mm-hmm.
does. So our
Mm-hmm.
efforts really have been flooring, and also just, our edge grain tiles. The component part is a 3/4 inch by 7.5 inch stick. So if it won't make that, it won't make much. Um, so we
Yeah.
are able to use so much of our material in our flooring that there's very little left over. Once we've fed the furnace and sold the sawdust to the mushroom grower, there's not much left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. And are you finding the demand is getting bigger or more?
Yes and no. The last, 2022, 23 were really, really good years for us. Even, second half of 2021, sort of the second half of COVID was just a boom for
Mm-hmm.
wood products, remodels, new construction. Things have really slowed down. We're loosely tied to construction. When home starts go down, we aren't as busy, and
Yeah.
we're in a fairly rarefied market that's fairly insulated from that, but not completely. And
Mm-hmm.
so things have slowed down with our wide plank. We're still steady, but it's not the boom that it was the last couple of years. But we're really, I'm seeing a ton of interest. I mean, we've just launched our edge grain floor, in the last, 2 months ago. So
Yeah.
that's really, we're getting floors out there, getting it photographed, getting more practice putting that in spaces besides the airport. And so that I see really coming online over the next 6 months to a year. That's going to just, I think, really boom for us. I mean, I bet a lot of the business on this new flooring, and we'll see where it goes, but it's heading in the right direction right now.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
What what's particularly been one of the most satisfying aspects about running this business?
Oh boy. I mean, I'm a problem solver. I like solving problems, and having challenges, to figure out how to navigate has been really
Mm-hmm.
rewarding for me. And on the small scale of the day to day of, a machine is, I like working on machines. I like machines. I like the operations of the mill, and
Mm-hmm.
just figuring out troubleshooting things like that. But on a bigger scale, I mean, something that was just so rewarding was figuring out how to make this new floor for the airport. And then for us, that was, like I said, we're the first facility in North America to make this. So we had to build a facility from scratch, and really innovate and develop a brand new product, find the vendors who could make the machinery that we needed to do this, and put the whole process together. And that, I love doing that. It's stressful, it's exciting, it's fast paced, and when you have deadlines and big orders that have to get out, but we were successful. We did it. We were able to deliver that 75,000 feet on time, on budget, and it didn't break us. So stuff like that really, I enjoy. I enjoy figuring out how to solve those problems and make it work.
That's awesome. That's so
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
yeah.
and I saw that on your YouTube that you're starting to like you've made some videos.
Yeah. I mean, it was really fortuitous. I hired a guy last fall who, friend of a friend, who was looking for work and needed another mill worker, and especially when we were, really in cranking out edge grain day after day after day, making that big floor. And turns out he's got a video and photography and design backgrounds, and pretty soon I have him, he's not just, pulling boards off the mill, but he's making videos and doing photography for us. So it just kind of, he fell in my lap with a phenomenal skill set, and I'm so fortunate to have him on board. And so he's been, making videos of what we do here, part-time, as part of his role here. And it's been a godsend. It's been really fantastic to have him on board. And it just fell
That's
in my
so cool.
lap. I mean, I wasn't looking for that, but he came with those skills. And I really try to, with all of our crew, figure out what they're good at and try to, have
Match
people
them up.
really play to their strengths, and
Yeah.
this was a great example of that.
So cool. Um,
Yeah.
where'd you get the name Zena from?
So Zena, it's actually the name of the community here. We're bordered by a Zena Roads. There was an old, it's used to be a little town of Zena. Now the only thing left there is a church. There's a Zena Road and a Zena Church right next to us. So that's it's an old pioneer name, been around for 150 years here, and that's kind of the name of these hills right here. And we co-opted it. We're not the only company called Zena around here, but we're the only Zena Forest.
Okay.
And
That's cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, tell me, this is a part of the podcast where you get to ask any marketing or business advice. Is there anything that you need help with?
Oh,
Any advice that you
always,
need?
all day long, every day.
Uh-huh.
I'm always learning. I mean, I think for me, the big one is, we're launching a new product. We have built up enough, capacity that we can really, you know, massively increase our volume if the market is there. And we've got an innovative, cool looking new product. Everybody should go to our website and look at our pictures of edge grain. But how do we scale that? How do we really launch and market a brand new product? It's not just we're on the scene, but it's new to North America. It's a new look. It's a new type of flooring that really solves a lot of problems. And so that's my big challenge and question is any words of wisdom on bringing a new product to market and scaling it.
I mean, the photos look amazing, amazing
Awesome.
of the product. It looks really,
Yeah,
really cool. Um, yeah, it's bold too, right? Like
it
it's like a
is.
bold look.
Yeah,
Um, did you come up with that idea?
I did. I mean, so this type of flooring is fairly common in Europe and has been for a long time, but
It
really,
reminds me a little of herringbone, European French oak
yeah, I mean,
style,
it's
but like
absolutely
for
absolutely
2024. But like for
yeah. And so I took that technology and style and rejiggered it, and the form factor of our sticks and our tiles, that was something that I developed, and really in partnership with a lot of the architects and designers I work with, and thinking about the materials we have to work with in the Pacific Northwest and what the market might be looking for here, trying to develop a new look for this market. And so yeah, so I put that together, with drawing influences from, what's been around in Europe for a long time.
sure. So I mean, it's it's around storytelling, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you can tell more stories about the origination of the product,
Mm-hmm.
get more videos out there, short form, long form. The other thing is sending, um, collaborating with influencers
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
designers,
Yeah.
um, and contractors and remodelers across the country to like introduce this look
Yeah. Yeah.
there. Also, to potentially having like, I mean, I'm sure you have standard pricing, but have people, like partner with interior designers uh, who could use this
Mm-hmm.
and showcase it. So, there's all these like lifestyle people online,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and they literally create content walking around their house.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a guy named Don Bosch. I'll text you. I'll
Oh,
text
cool.
you
Yeah.
afterwards. But
Yeah.
there's a guy. He's just like literally his whole entire social feed is him walking around his house with like, and these people have like 600,000 followers
Yeah.
because people want what they have in their
Mm-hmm.
house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And whether it's the art or whether, and so like it's about finding the right fit.
Yeah.
And then if you could, I would start locally and
Yeah.
finding influencers and designers in the Pacific Northwest and just like literally give them a package, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
and then document the whole entire process,
Yeah.
and then maybe have them pay for the install. Like I'll put, you know what I mean? Just like,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and if you can literally tell that story and have like two to three, four of those,
Yeah.
you take the content from that and then just blast it out and then tag them in it and have them repost it, because it's literally going to be in their house or whatever
Yeah.
for the rest of
Yeah.
whenever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the product is bold and beautiful enough that people will want to showcase it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And I'm honestly I'm looking for spaces, and we've done a couple demo floors so far, and we got one, we're photographing this on Friday, a new one, but really looking for those influencers, and because we've done a little bit of influencer work over the last couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
but that's definitely something that I'm interested in and trying to. Yeah, exactly. I'm willing
For
to
sure.
give a handful of people a floor right now because I want to
Yeah.
get it out there.
And honestly, it's about having the right one, and then
Right.
the next step after that is to, like, if you might be able to bypass, not bypass, but like supplement the A&D community by having direct to consumer sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
Cool. Is that helpful?
Absolutely. Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, this is great. I love your product, and I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to
Yeah.
see it out. And I love the family story
Yeah.
and just like specialized niche products. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Ben, for your time. Tell everybody your website.
Zenaforest.com. That's Z as in zebra, ENA forest.com. Zenaforest.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time, Ben, and I look forward to getting your story out with the Woodpreneur community.
Thanks so much for having me on, Steve. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care. Bye.